Hey, we've got some big news.
I think
Savannah
we do.
McCann is going to break some big news here momentarily with some breaking sports news.
Breaking sports news on 106.7 The Fan.
We have some breaking news out of Commanders training camp. This is per J.P. Finley. Jaden Daniels has been named QB1 on the first unofficial depth chart, according to Dan Quinn, and he will start Saturday's game. So Jaden Daniels is officially QB1 on the first unofficial depth chart, and you're going to see him start on Saturday.
Of course.
This is why I said it was much ado about nothing in the first place.
Well, it would have blown my mind.
And EB came back irked, and we did 2 segments on calls about the possibility that he wouldn't be named QB1 and
no
that
sense.
he wouldn't start in the
Made no sense.
preseason game. Chris Russell needs to call back.
He needs to apologize.
Maybe he needs to apologize.
No. Listen, it wasn't just Chris. I was on with Grant yesterday. Maybe it was Danny on vacation or something. I think it was. I don't think Danny was there. But if he was, forgive me. But I didn't hear Danny talking. Grant threw out that whole idea that he may not be listed as number 1, and he also thought it was crazy.
Well, it just Dan passed the first test.
He passed the first test.
Passed the first with flying colors.
Yes, because anything else would have been shenanigans. It would have been a game. It would have been just dumb.
It would have been Ron-like.
Right.
Everyone here is still in Ron mode. We gotta change our brains.
Yeah, and this was the right move. You don't want to give a kid anything, but he's passed every test with flying colors so far. I got guys that have been out to camp that are DMing me that it's not even close. Like, he's just blowing everybody away. He's the guy. So what are you going to name number 2 guy? What are you going to put Sam Hartman ahead of him? No, it made no sense. My head was exploding at the mere thought of thinking that he would do anything otherwise. Of course I'm right again. Of course. Which has been so dumb.
I said that.
I know. I agreed with you.
I said it. I actually told you there was no reason to get worked up. You got worked up for a little bit.
I got worked up at the thought of it.
No, he has Ron. Eric has Ron brain.
Yeah.
Yep, you have Ron brain.
No,
No. I'm saying that you.
Well, it would have been very Ron-like.
Yeah, this organization has acted very non-football like for the last 4 years.
Yeah. If Ron would play games,
yes,
about competition, everybody knew the starters. Of course, he was going to be number 1. All right,
we did put it up though as our Junkies poll of the day, presented by Scotty's
What was
Vodka.
the question?
Maryland made super smooth, loved throughout the DMV. It's completely irrelevant now. It was if Dan Quinn doesn't start Jaden Daniels in the first preseason game, is he making a mistake?
Yes.
45% said yes. 55% said no.
Oh, they're just being nice.
But he will start.
Of course.
Now the question is, how much time is he going to be on the field? I suspect it's going to be 2 series.
2 series.
And we're going to talk about
nothing.
4 for 7.
Nothing. You're not talking about nothing.
Hopefully 4 for 7. It might be like 2 for 4 with a couple of swing passes.
I don't think he's going to throw 7 passes. I don't see any scenario where he throws 7 passes because they're likely to go 3 and out in 1 or 2 of the series. What do you think? We're going to march down the field and have 80-yard drives?
A couple first downs.
In the first preseason game? Unlikely.
All right, maybe I'm being aggressive. I've told you, I would have the guy sling it at least 15 times and have 30 snaps.
All right, let's go.
Build a rhythm.
Let's go to Antoine. He passed the test, and I thought he would.
I was going to say, I'm looking at C.J. Stroud's numbers from his preseason debut against the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 for 4.
Yep.
With
That's what I suspect to happen.
With an interception.
Right. Yeah. Antoine, what's up, buddy?
Nothing. Glad Jayden got the nod for the starting position.
Right. I'm not going to insult him.
Yeah, that's cool. But I was still on the kind of ties in. I was still on the Brandon Ayuk situation.
All right.
I want to get, and the only reason I say that is let's take the Bengals blueprint where they drafted the Heisman winner quarterback in Burrows and then proceed to go get his number 1 target that he was comfortable with.
Right.
We see how that worked out. It's a coincidence that we have a draft Heisman winning quarterback and we have the chance to go get a top 10 receiver that he has chemistry with that wants to come play with him. It's a big injustice, and not just him being in this top 10. Let's remember, like you just said about Ron. Ron wasn't our first choice at head coach. Neither was Dan Quinn. Nobody wants to come here and coach. Nobody wants to come here and play in their prime. So when you have somebody try to push their way here, it's more than a disservice. It's disrespectful. If you really want to help Jayden out, get him somebody that he has chemistry with, a top 10 receiver. Actually, your caller said earlier that our receivers had issues getting separation, correct? I mean, the guy that you was just talking about.
Yes.
Russell, I think he said that in the first week. He thought that the receivers weren't shining particularly.
Exactly. And that's the disjustice. But anyway, like I said, nobody wants to come here in their prime, and we're happy with Ertz and we're happy with Wagner. But that's our MO. We get players that's long in their tooth. We need to get a little younger and try to win games like everybody else. Mind you, we won 4 games last year, fellas.
Right.
So anything that we turn out, we got to stop acting like the cute chick at the prom. And I'll let y'all talk.
All right, thank you, Antoine. There's something to be said for that, I suppose. Listen, if they were able to pull off a deal and they had him here, I don't care. I'm not like other guys like where I care about what they're paying. I don't care. I'll let them figure that out. And I've always had the notion that you can outrun the cap and you can figure out shenanigans. It might cost you a player or two here or there at some point, but I don't care what they pay him. I just wonder. I just feel like it's a little bit of a luxury item. It's just a little bit early in the process. If you brought him here and he was playing and he was lined up, I'd be fired up.
If you're just catching up, here's your update. And EB and I both said we didn't agree with Russell. They named Jayden Daniels the starter for the preseason game, and he is atop the depth chart.
Right.
QB1.
Anything else would have been shenanigans.
Would have been shenanigans, and
it would have been disingenuous.
It would have been insulting your star player.
It would have been insulting the fans. It would be insulting my intelligence. It's like when we had Ron on, and he claimed he didn't know what the name of the team was going to be
Correct.
a half hour before they released it.
Yeah.
It's insulting.
And then the Brandon Ayuk deal, fans are going to be upset. It ain't happening. According to all reports, it ain't happening.
Right.
Adam Peters and the organization, they've bowed out. And it looks like I was watching Good Morning Football during the break. The reporters all saying he's more likely to be traded now than stay in San Francisco. So that tide has turned because 2 days ago, in all likelihood, he was staying in San Francisco. And then something changed, and they're going to deal him. But it ain't going to be here. They're dealing him, it looks like, to New England or Cleveland, unless Washington gets back in or the Steelers get back in. But it's down to those two teams. They say there's a framework of a deal, and the Commanders have withdrawn from consideration.
Which, you know what? It's fine with me. If they brought him in, I'd be excited. This guy would be thrilled. But
Right.
I don't think it's a necessary item right now.
If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. We're the Junkies.